Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing well. So guys, in today's video we'll see how we can upload artifacts to Jfrog Repository using Jenkins CICD Pipeline. So we'll also see how we can build an application just like we have used in our previous videos, and then we'll deploy that application to Tomcat server. So let's start our today's video. Okay, so in today's video, firstly we'll understand what Jfrog is. So there will be a little bit introduction about Jfrog. Then we'll understand what build tool introduction basically is, and what is Maven, which is also a build tool. And then we'll see why we need Jfrog repository. And after that, we'll create a step-by-step creation of Jenkins CICD pipeline. Post completion of that, we'll upload artifact and download artifact from Jfrog repository using Jenkins CICD pipeline. Okay, so firstly, let's understand what are build tools. So build tools are commonly known as programs that automate the process of building an executable application from source code. So the source code that is provided from development team side cannot directly deploy to your server. So in order to get it deployed to the server, we need to change it to a executable form. So the build process is the process that convert your source code to the executable form, which can then be deployed to the server. So this building process includes several activities like compiling, linking, packaging to the code, and then it will convert that code to an executable form. So there are multiple build tools available in market. It depends which type of language you are going to use to build your package. So if you are using somewhere you are using .NET, somewhere you is using Java, so you need to decide which build tool is suitable for your source code. So in today's example, we'll be using a Java based source code, and we'll be using Apache Maven as an build tool. Okay, so what Maven actually is, Maven is one of the build tool that is based on POM. POM is project object model. So it mainly used for Java based projects. Developers provide us the source code along with test cases and along with one more file which is called pom.xml file. So everything is written in that pom.xml file, just like which tool is used for which purpose in order to achieve individual stage of your software development lifecycle model. So Maven basically what it do, Maven is a tool that's a build tool which reads the pom.xml file and resolve dependencies of the project. So what it means is whenever we'll run any Maven command, so that command is having certain dependencies in order to make that command successfully completed. So Maven will read pom.xml and it will find out that which dependency is required in order to execute that particular Maven command. So Maven validates if the dependencies are available locally on your machine or not. If it is available, then it is fine. But if it is not available, then it will get it download from internet, and then it will get stored to your local machine, and then it will get served from that local machine. So whatever is defined in that Maven configuration, all dependencies will get download from internet and will be available to the local machine. Okay, so now let's understand what is software build process. So there are multiple phases during software build process. So different tool is used for each phase. Which tool is used for which phase? Everything is defined in the pom.xml file. We'll build one sample application and following tools will also get used for each phase. So these tools may get differ. That depends upon what is defined in the pom.xml. But in our example, these are the following tools that are represented in that pom.xml. So for compilation, it is GCC. For code review, it is PMD. For test case, it is JUnit. For test case report, it is Surefire. For code coverage, it is Cobertura. And for packaging, it will just create a war, and that war is a kind of application.war. So that we'll see once we'll do it practically. So now let's understand that what is there in the software code that is provided by developers. So there is one source folder and one pom.xml file is provided from them. Inside that source folder, we are having further two folder, that is a main folder and test folder. Main folder is the folder that is containing your Java source code, and test folder is the folder that contains test cases that will get performed to that Java source code. So that we can also see in this snippet that there is source folder and there is one pom.xml file here. Source folder is here, and we are having main and test under this source folder. So pom.xml will be on the same directory level where we are having this source folder. Okay, so this is basically a snippet from our pom.xml file. So here we can see that it is defined PMD with a commented. So Maven PMD plugin will get firstly download as a dependency for this particular section, and then for testing it is having JUnit, so dependencies related with JUnit will get download first, and then the testing step will get performed. Reporting, we can see surefire-report-plugin. So firstly it will download this plugin as a dependency, all the dependencies will get download, and then the steps will get performed. So Maven just read it out in this way and found out, okay, this is defined in this particular pom.xml. So Maven automatically download these from Maven Central, that is a remote repository, and then Maven will perform the commands that will give to Maven. Okay, now let's understand that what Maven command we are going to use in our example. So there are multiple things in Maven, but we are not going through each and everything of Maven. But to execute our example, we just need three commands. One is Maven compile, Maven test, Maven package. So we'll use ambient compile, ambient test, ambient package. Once we'll run ambient compile command, it will generate a new folder target, and inside that folder it will create classes folder, which is basically a folder that will contain the compiled source code. So that compiled source code will be in the form of .class files. Once we'll run ambient test, then it will generate a new folder with surefire-reports, which is a folder that contains test case reports. And once we'll run ambient package, it will create an application.war file under target directory, and that application is basically the application which is in executable form, and we can deploy it to our Tomcat server. Okay, now let's understand that what Jfrog Artifactory is and why we use it. So in my previous video, I have already explained how we can use a similar thing in case of Nexus, which is most commonly used in project, but somewhere we are also seeing that Jfrog is now picking up the market. So Jfrog is also getting used in multiple companies in multiple live projects. So now let us understand that what is this Jfrog Artifactory. So there are three types of repositories, just like it was in Nexus for build and package manager tool. Similar three types of artifactories, we can say three kinds of repositories we are having in Jfrog also. So in Nexus we were having hosted, proxy and group. Similarly here we are having local, remote and virtual. So what is local? This is basically a repository where we'll store our artifacts like tar, var, zip, images, etc. This is private to organization, not publicly accessible. Our application.war post successful build will be placed here. What is the advantage of this kind of repository? Fully tested and versionized build is always be available at this location. So what it means? It means is that during the build process, we have tested it using JUnit test cases, but post completion of build, once we'll deploy it to server, then testing having so many forms. So there is a testing kind of like load testing, performance testing. So these testing can easily be get performed to that build, because now that build is tested, anybody can download who is having access to Jfrog, and then they'll install it to the server and can perform load testing, performance testing, etc. Second repository comes is the remote repository. This is basically a repository which is linked to a remote repository, and this can also be called a kind of mirror to that remote repository. Usually in organization, each machine cannot access public sites, so these machines reach out to public site using a proxy, and then that content dependencies which is fetched from remote repository is now stored in local repository, which is called cache. So what is the scenario here is that in case of remote, will firstly connect to a proxy repository, which in turn connect to a remote repository which is also hosted on the company's portal, so that nothing can be downloaded directly from internet, because there may be some malware or there may be some kind of things that can come in company's environment. So in order to make that security piece in picture, usually these kinds of configurations make an organization. So remote repository is very necessary in order to create, in order to make security on priority. So what it will do, that developers whenever they want to get some kind of dependency, so they firstly reach out to the remote repository which is a proxy repository, and that proxy will automatically get download content from remote repository which is also in company's premises, and then that will get cached, and next time when the similar request will come, then that will get served from cache. So what is the advantage is that advantage of this is that first is security, second it will save time and network bandwidth for each similar kind of request. Okay, now third repository comes is a virtual repository, which is basically combination of multiple repositories. So we can have it like it's a combination of local and remote repositories. So what is the advantage? Advantage is that no need to give individual URL of local and remote repository. Rather, we can give one URL in configuration, which is a virtual one, and all the things related to local and remote will get it served using this particular virtual repository. So we can see in diagram also that developers are getting connected to proxy repository, which further get connected to the remote repository, and it will get download dependencies on the cache, and whenever developer will come with a similar request next time, it will not get download from the remote repository, rather it will provide the content from cache. Okay, now let's see how we can install JFrog OSS Artifactory. So just like Nexus, we are also having two types of artifactories in JFrog. So one is license based, one is open source. So OSS is an open source, as we are doing is for testing purpose, so we can use it. But in companies, once you will work or in live projects, they are having that licensed JFrog Artifactory or Nexus Artifactory. So that is getting set over there, but we'll install today open source based Jfrog Artifactory. So firstly we need to update the package, then we need to install Java, which is a prerequisite, and after that we'll just download this particular binary of OSS, and then we need to install unzip. In order to unzip this particular zip, we need this unzip package first, then we'll unzip this folder, and then we'll go to this directory under bin, and we'll use an artifactory.sh script with start as an argument. So I'm using this a very old version of this JFrog OSS, but this version works well as, and its installation is easy, so that it is easy to understood, because latest version is having lot of configuration. So in order to make it set, it will be a bit tricky, and we need to make lot of configuration. So in order to make it easy, I'm taking example of old version. It is very similar to the newer one, and our example can successfully run in this case. So we'll install it using these commands. Okay, so once we'll install it, we'll firstly having this admin console for JFrog Artifactory. So here we'll provide the username and password. So username by default is admin and password is by default as password. So we'll go inside it using these credentials. Once we'll go inside, then we'll be having this welcome page to Jfrog repository. We'll just click on next as highlighted below. Okay, then we need to set our admin password and username. So username is the same, we need to set admin password. So we'll provide a password according to our choice, and then we can click on next as highlighted below. Okay, once we are done, then we'll having this configure a proxy server. So if you want to configure a proxy server, you can go with it, but if you don't want to add any proxy server as of now, so you can just skip this section. So we'll skip it because we don't need it. Okay, after that it will ask for create repositories. So there are few repositories that are available in this OSS Artifactory section. So our Artifactory is Maven one, so that is available, so we can use it as highlighted. So we'll click on it, and then we'll click on create button. That will get activated post clicking on Maven. And once we'll click on it, it will say that Artifactory onboard is complete. So whenever we create any Artifactory, so here we can see like it creates local along with the remote along with the virtual. So all three will get create during this creation. So we'll be having this libs snapshot local, libs release local. Similarly, libs snapshot, libs release is remote one. So it will create all three by self by just using this welcome console page, and then we'll click on next, or after that we'll click on finish. Okay, so here we can see that it is showing Artifactory is happily serving 0 artifacts. So all the Artifactory, or we can say all the repositories, are getting showing here it's related to Maven as it is having M in front. So we'll be using it. Okay, after that if we'll click on left side, there is an artifact option. So once we'll click on it, all the repositories will be shown here, and we are going to use libs snapshot local in today's example. So as of now we can see it is blank, but once we'll upload artifact, we'll able to see artifact here. So that we'll see once we'll do it practically. Okay, after that if we'll go to admin section, so here in this section we are having a lot of options, so we'll not go to each options, and we'll use users and groups, which are the basic requirements, because in companies those who are running these kinds of artifactories, so they are a separate team who works as an admin. So if we need anything, So we can just ask them and they made configuration related to that. But as a DevOps engineer, we need to be clear related to users and group section, because it is a very that's a very basics of this JFrog, so that I'll explain. So first we'll click on this users, then we'll see this particular page. So this page is having 3 users by default. If we want to create a new user, on the right side we are having this new button. So we'll click on this new button, and then we'll provide username, and then we'll give email address. After that, we can check what all settings we want to give to this particular user, like admin privilege, disable UI access, can update profile, disable internal password. So one thing that is by default selected is can update profile. Rest we can enable according to our choice. Then we can set password for this particular user one. And if we'll scroll down, then it will be asking for the group. If we are not giving any group, by default reader is a group that will assign to all users. And once we'll click on it, and then we'll click on this right arrow green button, so this permissions will come to the right side, and it means it is getting assigned, and then we can click on save. So by this we are done with creating users in JFrog Artifactory. And now if you want to create group, we can go to admin section, we can click on groups. And here in groups, if you want to create a by default reader group is the default group that always be available, and that is an auto join group. We are seeing this tick, so any user who will be created by default, readers group will get assigned to that user. But if we want to create any customized group, we can click on new, and then we can give any name. We can give any name to that group, and we can assign these permissions like automatically join to new users or admin privileges. So according to our choice, we can just select this checkbox, and we can also select the user, click on this right arrow button, and if the user will come on the right side, so it means this new permission will also get assigned to this particular user one, and then we can click on save. So now we can see on group section that a new group has been created with admin privilege, because we have checked this admin privilege section during creation of this new group. Okay, after that, if we'll see user section, so we are seeing user one has been created. Along with this user is now having readers group along with that new group. So these two groups are assigned to this particular user, where readers group is by default and new group we assigned during creation of this new group. Okay, so now let's check whether we are able to get successfully logged into the console using this user or not. So we have just placed the credential, and we can click on login. And now we are in with this particular user one that we can see on the right side with the welcome user one sign that is showing highlighted or red. So it means we are successfully able to log in with this user one. Okay, so this is done with the JFrog part. Now we'll install the Tomcat server, which will serve our application. So what is Tomcat? Tomcat is a well-known open source web server. So those who are aware, that is good, but those who are not aware, I'm just having this brief introduction of this Tomcat server also. So it's a popular open source web server and servlet container for Java code. Apache Tomcat runs on 8080 port, so we need to open this port from networking section. But here we are running all this JFrog along with Apache Tomcat and then Jenkins on the same machine. So we are using 8080 port for Jenkins, so we'll change port for Apache Tomcat. So here 8080 will be used by Jenkins, 8081 will be used by JFrog, and 8082 will be used by Tomcat. So we'll change Tomcat server port from 8080 to 8082, so that I'll show you how we can change it. So in order to install Tomcat server, we just need to execute these kinds of instruction. So firstly we need to update the packages, then we need to install Java, then we need to create directory, we need to change permission, and then we need to download its binary, and then we need to untar this package. We need to change ownership of this particular directory, and then we'll copy these tomcat-users.xml and content.xml file, which I have modified and placed on my repository, so that we don't need to do any modification. We'll simply replace it with the original files that will get download with the binaries, and then we'll start Apache. So I'll tell you how we can do this and what are the modification of these two files, that I'll show you in my next slide. So here in Tomcat-user file, we'll just provide the username and password for Tomcat console, and roles also needs to be enabled in order to access the manager console. So I'll be using this username and password to get login to the Apache Tomcat management console, that I'll show you once I'll do it practically. in context.xml we need to hash out one entry or comment out one entry. So these two files are now modified and I have placed it on my repository. So I'll take it from there and will replace with the original files. Okay, so now we are done with JFrog, we are done with Apache Tomcat, we are done with how to build application and what are the build tools. So those all sections will already complete. So now we'll do a little bit practice for this Jenkins pipeline also. So I have explained this pipeline in my previous videos, so those who are aware, so that's okay, it's good. But those who are new, so I always place these kinds of content repeated so that anybody cannot if anybody is not able to understand anything, can get easily understood by my each video. So here what we are doing, we are using a declarative CICD syntax. So there are two syntaxes in Jenkins. One is declarative, one is scripted. So I mainly use declarative because it is easy to understand and easy to create. So in this declarative pipeline, we'll be using a sample pipeline code and then we'll do step-by-step creation of complete pipeline. So that I'll show you how we can create this declarative CICD pipeline. So as of now, you can understand what is this CICD pipeline. So basically it will start with pipeline section. Then we need to provide agent. If we are placing agent any, it means it will run on the same machine where Jenkins is installed. So it will be running on master machine. Then we are having stages, then we are having stage, then we are having steps. So inside steps, we actually provide step related to that particular stage. So our first stage is checkout stage, where we'll check out our code to our machine, and I'll show you how we can generate this checkout complete command from Jenkins snippet generator, which is a documentation section provided from Jenkins side. Secondly, we'll install Maven. So we are not doing anything, we are just downloading its tar and then we are doing untar. So in case of we are doing all these things on Linux machine, that's why we are using sh. If we are doing on Windows machine, then we need to use bat here. In the third stage, we'll be doing compilation of application. So what we'll do, we'll just use a command mvn compile from the bin directory of Maven package, and we'll execute it from the directory where we are having our pom.xml file. So by default, our Jenkins home directory is varlib Jenkins. Inside that, I'll create a project in Jenkins with test name, and our pom.xml is present under address book / address book _ main. So we can only execute these Maven related command where they are pom.xml file is there. So that's why I have used this dir block, so that every time I don't need to do cd, I'll just define that I need to execute this compile command from this directory. Okay, so next after compilation we'll test our application. So everything will remain same just like compilation, just there will be a change in command. So I'll use ambient test here. Similarly, we'll use package sample application. So everything will remain same just like test, just only there is a difference of command. So we'll use ambient package command. So I discussed these three commands in my previous slides. So in this way we can use those three commands in Jenkins CICD pipeline. Okay, so now this section is new because here we need to know how we can upload JFrog artifacts. So there are two ways. Either we can define the configurations in the system tab of Jenkins. So I have tried that approach, but that approach was not working. So second approach is that we can use functions provided from JFrog documentation. By using those functions, we can upload artifacts. So the same function I have used here. So firstly, we need to define that which URL is our Artifactory URL, then we need to provide its credential, and then we need to bypass proxy true. It means that if you are using your Artifactory on non-secure server, because if you are not having certificates installed, so you are using HTTP URL. So we are going to use HTTP URL. That's why we need to make bypass proxy true, else it won't work. And secondly, we need to upload artifacts. So we'll using this rt upload function. So rt server function in order to define those configuration, rt upload function in order to upload artifact. So here we need to define server id. It is same of the id that we'll be providing here. So we can give any id, but we need to use server id same the id we have given over there of our choice. Then we'll provide which file need to upload and which is the target. So pattern is the name of the file, that will be addressbook.war, and where we want to get it target. So this is basically the repository that got created by self during welcome page Maven repository creation. So we'll upload that artifact here. Once it is uploaded, we can also download it from that portal. So Where we want to get it download, we can define that dir here. So it's a /tmp, so we'll get download that file here, and then we need to provide specification file similar to that of upload section, but we need to provide pattern and target again. So pattern will be where is our address book.war, so it is there in lib snapshot local, and target will be blank, so it means it will get download to the directory where we have specified earlier. Once this is done, we'll create a prerequisite section for Tomcat, which is basically installation of Java. So it will be getting done from here. And then we'll create a stage of install Apache Tomcat server where we'll be using those steps that I defined earlier. Only there is one step new, that is an sed command. So by using this command, we'll change 8080 port to 8082 port in this particular server.xml file of Tomcat. And then we'll deploy our sample application. So basically we'll use this war file and we'll place in web apps directory, which is basically the deployable directory of Tomcat, and application will get served. Then we'll restart the Apache Tomcat server. So we cannot restart it with any user, we need to make it with the user that is available on machine. So I have created one user, cloud admin, and I'll get it start using that. So because in Jenkins, whenever we'll execute any command from CICD pipeline, so that will get execute using Jenkins user, but we want to get it start using this cloud admin user, we need to use run user -l switch, and then -c we need to give that startup script location. Okay guys, so this was the theory session. So I hope that you got a clear idea of all these things, but if you are still confused or if you are still not getting anything, then things will get pretty clear once we'll do it practically. So now we'll be starting our practical demo, and step by step we'll create all these things. Okay guys, so this is our Jenkins console. I have already installed it. If you don't know how to install it, I have created another videos in my Jenkins playlist where I have clearly explained how we can install Jenkins on Ubuntu. So you can take help from there, and once it is installed, we can proceed with our CICD pipeline creation. So here firstly what we'll do, uh, firstly we need to open port 8081 and 8082 that will get used by JFrog and Apache Tomcat. So I have installed this on this Azure virtual machine. So what we'll do, we'll just go to networking section of this virtual machine and we'll open two ports here. So 8080 is already open because it is getting used by Jenkins. Now we need to open two ports. So we'll go to inbound port rule, and then we'll enable 8081 port. We'll keep all these settings as it is and we'll click on add. So now 8081 port is open. We can again go to this network settings section and we can see that 808081 is now open and it is allowed. Now we can go to inbound port rule again and we'll open one more port, that is 8082. Click on add. Okay, and if we'll further again go to this network settings section, so here we can see now 8080, 8081, 8082. Okay, so now all three ports are opened. Next thing what we need to do, we need to install that Jfrog Artifactory. So I have copied these instruction here. I'll share these instruction in description so that you can take it up from there and you can install it by yourself. So firstly we'll copy this command one by one and we'll execute it on the machine where we have installed Jenkins. So firstly we have done this update piece. Now we'll go with this default JRE. Okay, so it will also get installed here. So this may take some time. Let's copy another command. So we are just wgetting this particular OSS zip. So this might also take some time because it is having some big size, looks like. Okay, it is also done now. Now we'll install this unzip package first. So this is also done. Next we need to unzip this zip. Okay, so now unzipping it, and then we can go to bin directory. We are inside bin now, and then we can execute this artifactory.sh start command. So this is started. So now what we can do, we can try accessing it. So we can copy this IP and let's try to get it access with 8081 port. Okay, so there might be some issue with it. So let me check. Okay guys, so there was some problem in that machine. So I have created one new machine on Azure and we'll be using this machine as a slave. So now let's install this particular Jfrog Artifactory on this particular new machine. So we'll execute a similar instruction. There were some packages were contradicting with Jenkins packages. So that's why on the same machine it was not getting happen. So I have created this new machine and let's check whether this works on this new machine or not. So we'll execute all these instructions. Similarly, we executed on Jenkins machine. Now it's a new machine. So we'll be using this machine for installing Jfrog Artifactory and we'll use all these commands, similar commands that we were using in the previous machine. Okay, so I'll go to this particular location and I'll change it with some other version. So let's copy it and then let's check it. What all packages are here? So there are multiple packages. There are 6.17.4, 18.5 also, 6.18.5. So here we are having 6.17.4. So let's change it with 18.5. And I think here also we need to change 18.5. So rest all thing will remain same. So let's try whether this works or not. So we'll download it. Okay, so it is downloaded now. Next we need to download this unzip. In order to unzip this package, okay, then we'll do unzip of this zip. This sync cannot unzip. So one newly installed cannot find or open. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll change the package. So package is 18.5. Okay, so this is also done. We'll change it here, 18.5. Then we'll go to this directory. Okay, again we need to change it here. It's 18.5. And then we need to execute this artifactory.sh start command. So hopefully it should work now. So let's go to the second machine. So this is the second new machine that I have created as a test machine. So we'll copy this IP and we'll get it access with 8081. So yes, this time it is working. So I have already opened 8081 and 8082 port on this machine. So here this artifactory is now getting ready to work. So let's wait for some time. It takes some time to get things set up. Once it will set up, we'll be having that login page so that we can log in it with credential using admin as a username and your password as a password. So it is getting set up in backend, so it may take some time. Okay, now we are having that login page here, so we can use admin and then we can go with password, and now we are inside this Jfrog repository. So its installation is easy, but there was some problem in that machine, that's why it was not working. So I tried a different approach. Now we'll use a master slave approach, so that we'll connect our master with this particular slave. So this new machine, I have installed this Jfrog now. So similarly, as I have shown in those slides, we'll go to next, and then it will ask to set admin password. We can set it here. Okay, then we can go to next. Now this is a proxy server. We are not going to configure it. We can skip it. Then it will ask to create repository. We can click on this Maven. We can go to create. Okay, so now we can see that Artifactory onboard is complete, and this local repository along with remote repositories and this JCenter, this everything is getting create here. So we'll click on this finish. Once we'll click on finish, we are seeing these repositories here. So if we'll just click on this double arrow here, so here we can see that artifacts option is there. We can click on it and we can see all these artifactories related to Maven is here. If we'll click on lib snapshot local arrow, we are not seeing anything here. So now we are done with setup of our artifactory section. Now we'll go to create our CICD pipeline in Jenkins. So firstly we'll go to Jenkins, we'll go to manage Jenkins, and we'll install plugin related to Jfrog. So here we need to go to plugins, and in available plugin section we can search RT. Okay, so now we can search for Artifactory. Here we are seeing two plugins. We can select it and then we can click on install. So now we can see that it is installing so many plugins related to Artifactory and Jfrog also. So let's wait to get everything installed successfully. Okay, so we are seeing everything success, so it means everything is installed now related to this Jfrog plugin. And if we'll go to manage Jenkins section, we'll go to new item, and before doing that we have created this particular second virtual machine as a slave. We need to get it created, so we'll go to manage Jenkins, then we'll go to nodes, and here this is our master. We'll create a new node, so we can give any name like test slave. We can give it here, then we can click on permanent agent, we can click on create. Here we can go to this remote root directory. So here we need to define that where we want all Jenkins content to be placed. So we can click on /tmp as a root directory, and label, we can give the label that we are going to use in our pipeline. So give it as test slave, and we can select only jobs build when label expression matching the node, so that once this label is used in pipeline, then only this node will get used. And here we need to use launch agent by connecting it to controller, not we need to go with agent via SSH, because first option is for Windows. Here we need to give IP of our machine, so this is our test machine IP. We are going to save, and in credential, as of now there is no credential, so we need to add credential. We need to provide username and password of this machine. So and the password will be the machine's password. Okay, and we can go on add. Once credential is created, we can select that credential, and here in host key verification strategy there are 4. So those who are not aware about these strategies and master slave concept, I have created separate videos in my Jenkins playlist, so you can check it out from there. So we'll be using non-verifying verification strategy, which is the simplest strategy in order to create a slave. So we'll keep this agent as much as possible, and then we'll click on save. So now here we can see that it is launching. So it means it is trying to connect to our master, and one idle process is here and there is no cross mark. So here we can see it means this node is now connected to master. So now master slave setup is also done. Now we are good with creating our pipeline. So we'll go to new item. Here we'll give project name. So let's go with the test project name, and here we can select which project we want to select. So we'll be using a pipeline project, and we'll click on OK. And then what we need to do, we just need to scroll it down till pipeline section. Here we need to use this hello world sample pipeline for declarative. Okay, and we'll be using this pipeline in order to create our complete pipeline. So let's copy it on one of the notepad. Okay, and we can go to the section where we can generate those codes. So we can click on this pipeline syntax section. So this is the snippet generator section from where we can generate our pipeline. So firstly we need to go it for checkout version control. It's a get based. We need to just provide the URL. So our URL is going to be this particular repository URL. So this we are going to use in for our example, and here it's a public repository, no need to provide credentials. And let's open this repository and check which branch we are going to create code. So this is a main branch where our code is written or placed here. So we'll go to this snippet section and we'll just change it to main, and then we'll click on generate pipeline script. So this is the checkout section that we are going to use in our pipeline. So we need to do a bit modification. Firstly, now we are not going to execute on master. We need to place one braces here in order to define our slave. So in this way we can define our slave. So just place it here, and here we need to write label and single quote test slave. So this is the label that we have created for our slave. Rest all thing will remain same. Now we don't want to use this hello. We want to use the first stage. That will be the stage for checkout code. So we'll use this name here, and steps will be the steps that we have created for checkout code. So that we can copy from here. Copy it and place it. So this is that much simple in order to create the first stage. Similarly, in order to create the second stage, we just need to leave these two braces as it is, and we need to place second stage here. So I have created the complete code on this notepad. So we'll copy stages step by step from here. So now this is basically the step for installing our Maven. Okay, so let's place it here. So what it do, it will just download the package and it will uninstall, or sorry, it will untar this particular Maven binary. Now in the third stage we need to do a compilation of stage. So we'll just copy that compilation piece. I have explained these steps in my previous videos also. So those who are new, I'm creating this pipeline from scratch so that they can understand that what I am doing. So in the third step, similarly, I have explained in my slides that we need to execute ambient compile command on the same directory where we are having pom.xml file. So if we'll go to repository, here if we'll go to this address book, and inside this if we are going to address book main, so here we can see this pom.xml. That's why I'm giving that particular path so that Maven can find the pom.xml and can execute the command. Similarly, in case of after test, we need to do sorry, after compilation we need to do testing of the application. So we'll just change the name of this stage, because two stages cannot have same name, your pipeline will get fail. And we'll change the command with test here, and then we'll create one more stage for packaging. So here we'll do it, we'll change the name because same names won't work. Okay, package, and here also we'll change test with package. So package is done. So now checkout is done, installation of Maven is done, compilation is done, testing is done, packaging is done. After that we need to create a stage of upload JFrog artifact, so that we'll see how we can get this code. Okay, so we'll go to Google first, and here if we'll go to Google, here we'll search Jfrog Jenkins Declarative Pipeline. Okay, and if we'll go to the syntax option, so it will give us some syntaxes related to Jenkins for JFrog. So it may take some time. It is also a kind of documentation provided from there. So here in this documentation, you can see that firstly, it is saying that either there are two ways to tell the pipeline script with Artifactory server to use. You can either define the server details as a part of the pipeline script, or define the server details in manage configure system. So if you choose to define an Artifactory server in the pipeline, add the following script. So I have used this manage configure system section also. I can show you that if we'll save it, okay, this is a project that I have saved. If I'll go to this Jenkins, manage Jenkins, here if I'll go to system, so there will be having one thing related to JFrog here. So if I'll scroll it down, there is one section for JFrog will be having like this, Jfrog plugin configuration. So if we'll click on add Jfrog platform, it will be having for ID, for server ID, for Jfrog platform URL, for credential, everything it is asking. And if we'll check on it, allow HTTP connections, so we can define all configurations here, but somehow it was not working. So today also I'll give the same thing that I have tried with the server one as an ID. Jfrog platform URL will be this URL. Okay, copy, and what it is saying, how we can place it here. Okay, with HTTP control V we can remove it. Okay, so it is saying that HTTP non-specific connection to the frog platform services are not allowed. To bypass this rule, check allow HTTP connection. So I have already checked allow HTTP connection, so I can click here. There are no credential. There is a credential, but that is not the credential of Artifactory. We can add, and that add piece was also not working. So similar some this kind of thing I was getting there, that it is not allowing us to use this. So if I'll remove it, whether it works or not, URL must be with HTTP. So if I'll give HTTP colon slash slash, so it is giving the same exception. If we'll go to advanced configuration, Jfrog Artifactory URL, and after that we can give this Artifactory piece also here, copy, system, control V. So again this message was getting populated. Even I'm clicking on this allow HTTP connections, then also it was giving this particular error. So if I'll save it, and if I'll go back again, if I'll go to system, okay, and if I'll go to that JFrog piece again, so here now it is not giving that exception. If I'll click on this add, now it is allowing us to add credential. So we'll give the username and password of that particular JFrog console. Okay, and in the id we need to give one id. That is very important because I'll use this id, rather I'll not use username and password once I'll use this function approach. So that what id we can give it here, we can give jfrog hyphen connection. Okay, it's all small, jfrog hyphen connection, and then we can click on add. Okay, so it is saying credential added. We can add these credentials, and here we have added the Artifactory URL. There is no distributed and X-ray URL, and then we can click on save. Okay, so I did it, but once I'll not defining that configuration in my file, it was not working. So what we'll use, we'll define that configuration here. So we'll copy this total function. Firstly, let's create the stage. Okay, so here we'll create one stage. So that stage will be just like this stage. So we'll do a copy and we'll leave last two braces. Okay, and we'll place this stage here. Now we'll change the stage name. So we'll be using upload Jfrog artifacts. Okay, so now we don't need this dir block here, so we'll remove it. Let's check whether we need this dir block or not. Yes, we need this dir block once we need to get that var going upward. So what we'll do, where is our var will get create. So this is the location where we are not having our var. So our var will get created in target directory that I discussed in our slide. So we'll be using that location from where we need to pick that particular var file. So here we'll keep this directory as it is, and we'll add one more directory, that is target directory, inside which our var will get created, and from there we'll upload. Now we'll copy that function. It's an RT server function. So we'll simply copy it and we'll place it here. Okay, so here the parameters that we don't want, we can remove those parameters. So ID we can give any ID. So let's do it with server1 here, and URL we can give our URL till Artifactory. So what is that URL? We can copy it from the Artifactory URL. So this is our URL. So we can copy it here and then we can replace it here. Control V. Okay. So this is the URL now. Here username and password, we can either use username and password or we can use credential ID. So if we don't want to get username and password show to anyone else, we can comment this out and we'll be using credential ID. So here we can give the ID that we create for our credentials. So that was jfrog hyphen connection. So always remember that we need to actually make these kind of credential ID for all credentials so that we can use it. Rather we want to show these username and password, we just need to use this kind of credentials ID. Bypass proxy is true and default value in 300 seconds for timed out. So we can also comment it out if we don't want. So we can comment it out because we don't want these kind of timeout. If you want to get it to remain here, so that is also okay. So this is the definition of our RT server. Now we need to upload the artifact. So we can find it out in the documentation how we can upload these artifacts. So this is basically for downloading the artifact and this is for uploading the artifact. So what we can do, we can copy this total function from here, copy, and we can paste in our pipeline. So here we have defined the configuration for server. Just after that we can write this rt upload function. We need to change it with server 1. Okay, and files is the same files that is available, so we need to get the location of our repository. The file will be this particular var will get generated to that particular path, so we'll upload this file, and the target directory will be our repository name. So what is our repository name? If we'll go to Artifactory, then it is libs snapshot -local. So we can take it from here also. It is mentioned here, libs snapshot local. Copy it, place it here, place it here, and then once it is done, we don't need this specific. It is saying if you don't want to get your job name and number, then by default will come by self. So if we don't want any build name or something, we can comment these out. We don't need it. And optionally, only if the build is associated with the project in Artifactory, set the project key. So we don't define any project key also, we can comment this out also. So if you want to comment it out, get it comment out, or if all are commented out, we can remove simply. Okay, so now we are done with it. So this stage is done till here. Now we need to create one more stage. So that stages are what we can say, we need to leave these two braces, and we can create one more stage of download artifacts. So how we can create that stage? We can again copy it from here. Okay, and then just before these three braces we'll place it like this, and we can change the name. We can change it to download artifact. So download artifacts. Okay, and directory, what will be the directory? So here we'll go with the directory where we want to get this artifact download. So give it as /tmp, and here sh, we don't want to use this, rather we want to use the function of download. So we'll find it out from the documentation how we can get it download. So just copy this complete section here, copy it, and just paste it in this section. So now these are the steps for RT download. So here we'll change our ID, so that is server 1 we have used earlier, and files will be the file from where we want to get it download. Target will keep it blank, and from where we want to get it download, from libs snapshot local. Just copy it. Okay, and just replace it here with this backslash, because we were having backslash here in target. Now I think we can also remove those lines in the end, because these are optional, so we can remove these lines here. Now we need to create some more steps like Tomcat prerequisite installation, then installation Apache Tomcat server, then deployment of this Tomcat server. So we can copy it till here, because last two we need to remain as it is. So we'll copy these stages, and then we'll place it here. It appears to be a very big pipeline, but that's a very good example, so I'm showing this example as of now. So looks like things are done. We can copy it. Okay, and then what we can do, we can go to our pipeline project here. In this test project, go to configure and remove the old code. Okay, and place it here. So we are not seeing any cross mark, so it means we are good with these things. So hopefully it should work, but let's see whether it works or not. So what we'll do, we'll save it. And one more setting we need to do in our this particular slave machine is that we need to add Jenkins user entry in order to get Tomcat successfully installed. So we'll get it done by using these following command. Okay, so what we have done here, we need to do entry in the sudoers file. So we have just given permission 755 so that we can access it, and it should not say it's on read only mode. We want to get it right. So what we'll do, we'll add Jenkins user here. So we'll write Jenkins all equals to all, and then no pass wd colon all. Okay, so this is the entry Jenkins all equals to all, no pass wd colon all. So now it will not ask password for Jenkins user, because once we'll do any sudo command run from Jenkins, so it asks for password. Now it will execute it without asking password. So we'll save it with wq. Okay, so this is also done. Now let's execute our pipeline and check whether it is working or not. So we are seeing that one job is running now. So it is firstly checking out code, and we are seeing that this pipeline is failed. So maybe there is some error. So let's see what is the error there. Okay, when any stage fail, then everything will get failed. So what it is saying, okay, so what I have done, I haven't changed the path of this particular Jenkins directory for this particular slave, because now I have given that there should be a path that is /tmp where everything will get done. So what we'll do, we'll replace this varlib Jenkins with /tmp in our file, so that our Jenkins related configuration will done from there. So what we need to do, we'll go to our pipeline script here, we'll do a control F, and we'll just replace it. So we need to replace varlib Jenkins with /tmp, because now it is slave. I have created this file, just keeping in mind that we'll create everything on same machine, but we want to get it done on slave machine. So we'll replace it with /tmp, because that was the path we have given during slave creation, that everything will be getting done on /tmp. So we'll replace all, and we need to replace it not with this but with /tmp. So what we can do, we can do undo. Okay, and here everything is defined. Yes. Now what we'll do, we'll copy it, edit, and then replace it with /tmp. Replace all. Okay, this should now work. Let's copy it. Okay, now let's go here in configure section, just select it out, remove it, paste it, and I think there is no mark, so it is done. Now let's do build now again. So let's see whether it works or not. Yes, this time it is working, because that code I have created when everything will be done on master, but due to some technical problem Jfrog was giving some error on that machine. So I created a new machine and that machine was a slave. And during creation of slave, I have given that which remote directory I'll be using for Jenkins purpose. So that I have defined /tmp. That's why I have replaced varlib Jenkins with /tmp, because now all Jenkins related configuration will be at this directory. So now installation of Maven is done completely. We are now installing, or we are doing a compilation of this code. So here, if we'll see that it is downloading dependencies related to compilation section. So it is saying downloading, downloading, downloading. So now compilation related dependencies are getting downloading, and then compilation build done. So build success is there, compilation is complete. Now it is doing testing of the application. So it is downloading dependencies related to testing. So Surefire related plugins we can see downloaded. It is also success. So this is done now. Now it is doing packaging of the application. So when packaging is done, so we can also verify it here that compilation is successful, testing is successful. Now it is doing packaging. So packaging is also done. It is now uploading Jfrog artifacts. Let's see whether it works or not. Yes, Jfrog artifact uploaded. Download is also complete. Now Tomcat prerequisite is in progress. So it is now installing Tomcat related prerequisites on it. So let's see, it might take some time because it is actually installing Java right now as a prerequisite. So once Java will install, it will install Apache Tomcat server, then it will deploy our sample application. So give it some time. So once that is done, will be good. Okay. So now Tomcat prerequisite is also done. It is now installing Apache Tomcat server. Apache Tomcat is installed now, and sample application is also deployed now. So what we can see now, we can go to logs. Okay, this console output log, and here if we'll go from full log, so firstly what it did, it actually did this Maven installation completion, and then what it did, it is now doing a compilation section. So one compilation section is completed, we'll see a build success message here. Wait a minute. Okay, there are a lot of dependencies related to Maven, so we can scroll it down. Scroll it down. Okay, so here we can see that recompiling the module. So compilation piece is done, and here what we can see that under addressbook.main it has created target directory and then classes folder. So inside this we are having .class files. Once compilation is done, it is now doing ambient testing. So now testing related dependencies are getting download, and once those dependencies will get download, it will give us this build success message for testing. So total run case is 23, 0 failures, 0 errors, 0 skipped, and it has created this kind of what we can say testing related results. It will get create on that Surefire reports folder, so that I'll show you on this machine. And then it did a package section, so downloading the dependency related to packaging. So during packaging it to testing again. So now once testing is complete, we can see that on target directory there will be a package that has been generated. So scroll it down till build success message. So here we can see build success for our packaging section, and it is saying building war, where it is building under target addressbook.war. So this war has been created now. Now let's see what it did in order to upload the artifact. So it is saying that now it is uploading artifact to artifactory lib snapshot local, and this particular wall will get upload over there. So let's go to artifactory, and here if we'll refresh it and if we'll get login again, okay, now we are inside repository. So if we'll click on this snapshot local, we can see that artifacts are here now. If we'll click on this artifact, so all the things related to this artifact will be shown here, and there is one download link also, we can download it from here. And next we'll see that whether our download function works or not. So we'll go to logs, and then here we can see that searching artifacts, and it is saying now which stage we are running, download artifact stage. So which directory, /tmp. So successfully able to download from lib snapshot local address book.war. So we can check it on that directory. So let's go to /tmp directory, and if we'll do an ls-lrth, so we are seeing that that war has been downloaded. So now our artifact download is completed, and post that what was there. Okay, so now the instructions was there for Tomcat installation and then deployment of sample application. So what we'll do, we'll go to this IP and we'll get it access using 8082 port. So let's see whether Tomcat has been installed or not. Yes, Tomcat has been installed. We can go to manager app, and here we can give the same credential that I showed in my slide in tomcat-users.xml file. Okay. Okay, so now we are inside management console, and this is the application that we have created. So let's access this application. Yes, that application is working. So this is basically an contact book application or address book application, we can say. If we'll click on new contact, we can add some contact details here like first and then the last. We can give any username here, the phone number, any number you can give, no checking, any email you can give. Okay, and any date you can select, and then you can click on save. So now you can see that that entry is populated on the top. If you will click on this entry, you can edit that entry also. You can make it as new, rest all entries remain same, click on save. So now that new has been changed with last and everything. So now the application is also accessible. So in this way we can do things related to our JFrog also. So I have used these functions because that configuration related to system was not working. I have tried, I have not shown here, I have tried, that was not working. So this documentation from JFrog is very very supportive. We can use in this way the things related to that. And one more thing I forgot to tell you here, that I always use this pipeline syntax section related to the things we do. Like in Nexus we were creating script from here, but if you'll search here for JFrog, you will not find anything. So this is the problem. Only JF command related thing we are seeing here, but nothing else is there related to. There is one JF command related thing is here. So if we'll click on it, it says that this step has not defined any visual configuration. So might be something is not here that we can generate from here. That's why we need to use this function if we are not able to create anything from that pipeline script. So guys, I hope you like this video, and I'm done with today's video. If you like it, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video.